Welcome to the podcast, Mike from Grizzled Geek.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Someone was mad enough to come on.
Yeah,
That's right. I had to. Just got done with my podcast. I had to fill my face first, and then I could come on.
that's how it goes. But
it's pretty ridiculous.
Batman 89.
what, Kyle?
How many times did I just say Batman 89?
Well, if that's a keyword, some people are probably toasty right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've looked at it and I've thought about selling it, but I'm just like, something tells me to hang on to it. I don't know. It's just like that gut feeling to.
It's
something says
FOMO.
hang on to it.
It's FOMO. That's what that gut feeling is called.
You think so?
Oh yeah, trust
What,
me.
like
I
you
got
got
it bad.
diarrhea?
Yeah, bad man.
It's just
Bubble
an
gut.
upset stomach. Yeah, that's bubble gut.
Bubble guts FOMO. So somebody just sold Batman 89 for $41. Someone just sold the Matina variant for $51. And then somebody just sold Hell Arisen Batman 89 for $140.
So both of them, huh?
It's crazy, man.
Did you see the guy? I thought I posted in our chat, but the Hell Arisen, he was selling an unopened box from Diamond.
Yeah, there's like 1,000 of them in there or something.
However many, I don't know. He had it for 20,000. That's what he was starting the opening bid for, 10,000. Whatever it is, however many there's in there, end up being working out to $260 a book.
Jesus.
That dude should get his Diamond account ripped away from him. So that's the same type of shit I'm talking about. That's when it comes to like the card game and the comic game, it's the same type of shit, right? So like, I'm having a crisis of conscience, right? Like what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Do you play that game? It's tough. It's weird for me.
I would look at it this way. If you leave a pack there for some kid, it's not a kid who's buying it. It's some middle-aged dude looking to fucking flip it.
Yeah.
So it might as well be you as the middle-aged motherfucker that flips it.
I think if you find it in the wild, all right, like if you find, like whatever, if you find cards in the wild and you want to buy the boxes, buy them. That's fair. That's first come first serve. No one's sitting there hiding them or holding them or anything like that. Like when we were just talking about Hell Arson, there was a story.
Did you just call it Hell Arson?
Yeah, Hell Arson.
Hell Arisen.
No, it's Hell Arisen.
Arisen, sorry. But Hell Arisen.
I like Arson better.
Yeah, right.
Arson.
Hell Arson's better. But
Hell yeah, Arson. Good
Hell
job,
Arisen.
Arson.
That's the name now.
yeah, that's fine.
It is. It's Hell Arson.
Dude, somebody sold the second prints of those books for $29.
But like,
Which one? Hell Arson?
Both of them, Batman 89 and Hell Arson.
you get you got the people selling it pre-selling it on eBay weeks before the book even releases. You know, so you already know they're going to get a hookup. So I think if you're getting in the wild and you buy it up, that's fine because you got that luck. It's
In the
not
wild,
like,
it came out Wednesday.
well, I know, but you're not like there's like I was saying that article was talking about how a comic book shop owner was saying like people didn't even pick up issue 1 and 2 of this series. Nobody cared about this series. And then because Punchline did it, everyone wants issue 3 like hotcakes. And he did a thing where if you weren't if it wasn't on your pull list already and you weren't subscribed to it, you had to buy issue 1 and 2 before he would sell you issue 3.
Still worth it.
Yep.
Yeah.
He could have. You bought the first 2. I would just would have sold it as a set
Yep.
So
for the same price as what everybody else is selling the one issue for. $70, $75, whatever. You get all 3. Fuck it.
but he even calls out in the article, the shop owner says that the spec market is ruining the comic book community.
That shop owner should be thanking the speculation market because those ones are, you know what? So now there's that book. If nobody would have made a big deal about it, that book would have been sitting on shelves. The book would have been put into backstock and it would have been in dollar bins until Hell Arson was a movie.
I just think Hell Arson's a better name. That's what I'm going to call it. Hell Arson. There you go.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm going to call it from now on.
Yeah.
That's
That's
pretty
what
much
I'd
it.
say too if I said Hell Arson and
Yeah.
fucking added an O and shit in there
He's got to keep it going.
and an N.
He's got to keep it going. Sometimes you just got to look past the dyslexia and keep it going. Your inability to read.
I don't think dyslexia adds letters. I think it flips them around and jumbles them up.
It's a special kind of dyslexia.
And that's the 1%.
Yep. I got that
Oh, the
like
arson lexia.
special dyslexia.
My dyslexia is better than yours.
That's right.
Super dyslexia.
That's a superpower.
That's my superpower.
Hell arson. It's fucking funny.
All right. Maybe
I like
it's a
how
ploy.
because the first time you actually said the right name.
It's a ploy. It's a ploy to just throw people off the trail so I can go buy more copies. So they can go to their comic shop and be like, I want Hell Arson #3. What the hell are you talking
I was
about?
listening to this podcast and they
Yeah,
said
Hell
Hell
Arson.
Arson 3 has its appearance of somebody. I think
What are you
her
talking
name is
about?
Wink.
What the hell are you talking about? So let me guess that book's #1 on the Hot 10 this week then.
Oh yeah, the Hot 10 list is full of that crap. It's
Crap.
it's kind of sad because Batman 89 has completely kind of taken over the list this week. Let me pull these up here. All right.
People are going that crazy for a cameo, huh?
I know. It's so stupid.
It's her first appearance, damn it.
But like you guys. Welcome everyone to another fantastic episode of Tales from the Spinner Rack, issue 11. How's it going, guys?
I'm just fine. I'm hyped. I'm ready. I'm excited.
Corbin's hyped to go again for round
Corbin
3
is super
for the
excited.
weekend.
Yes.
Round 3 for the weekend. And anyone who's familiar with Absolute Geek in our show, you guys will know Mike from Grizzled Geek. Thanks for joining us to partake in
Thank
today's
you.
episode, Mike.
For the facts.
Yeah, for the facts. So this week, with still yet another week of no new comic books to review, we're going to do a Justice League draft. And when you're doing a Justice League draft, you have to bring in someone who represents the facts. So when we needed someone to bring those facts, I thought of nobody other than Mike from Grizzled Geek.
Well, thank you very much.
Grizzled Geek is known for nothing but the facts, all the facts.
All the time.
And he's just an encyclopedia of knowledge, and he's just got article upon article to review to bring up those facts. So he's ready to go. Maybe not as quick live as he is in our chat, but he's
Probably not.
He's
I
probably
might,
ready to go.
I got it. Pretty good though.
Yeah, that's good
Keep
stuff,
it up
man.
there.
All right. By the way, Corbin, last week's winner of the best Marvel team, this guy right here,
Oh, nice.
I call Rig.
as voted on by the fans, the winner of last week's best Marvel
Okay.
Avengers team.
Did you have the Hulk in your list?
This
That's the
guy right
question.
here. I did not have the Hulk.
That is wrong. Whatever.
I stayed away from the normal Avengers. I did have Beta Ray Bill though. I did have
Oh,
Beta Ray
right.
Bill.
There, Barry Bill. That's acceptable.
He was so determined to make his whole new one that it was like, I'm sorry. Did you see my lineup? Like,
And I had Unbeatable Squirrel Girl. So, you can't go wrong with Beta Ray Bill or Squirrel Girl in that one.
That is true.
mess. It was
But
a
yeah.
mess.
She could be Thanos, so
That's right. With squirrels.
it's squirrel.
I just
Squirrel power.
Got our teams, all 10 spots drafted. Mike, why don't you go ahead and run down your Justice League list again one more time and kind of
All
give
right.
us a little bit of a reasoning of why you drafted the way you drafted and kind of, just a little bit behind your team.
All right. Well, when picking for a category, I like picking the best in that category. So starting off, Batman. Obviously, we know why. Nothing really to be said. He's the leader of the team. He could pretty much put a team out of any of these guys you put together. Magic wise, I got Dr. Fate and Constantine. If you're gonna do magic, you want the best. So there we go. For Power wise, I got Firestorm or Star, however you want to whatever you're thinking of. Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, and Firestorm together. That's pretty potential. Hey,
Your dog likes your picks.
they're super excited about my picks. Look at that. For some muscle, I got Big Barda and Shazam. So, I mean, they're not the top tier of the muscle, but they get it done, and they're both really cool characters. And then I got rounding it out here, Swamp Thing, Plastic Man, and Mr. Miracle, which are all really cool characters. And pretty powerful. I mean, rather than Plastic Man, but in their own right. So I'm excited about the team. I like it. That is one that I would actually yeah. Sorry.
You get it out?
I got I'm like, oh.
He's getting all emotional.
Everyone's all excited about my team here. Look at this. They're all coming in.
He's getting all emotional.
Yeah, go ahead.
Still a little bit misty-eyed.
I know. I'm like, oh.
Very emotional.
I want to read this comic now.
Not a dry eye
team in an animated form. All right, Corbin, let's go. What you got?
All right. So mine pretty straightforward. I start with Batman Beyond, kind of an emotional decision because I was just fresh off of not getting Batman. I was angry, and I was like, you know what? He learned under Bruce Wayne. He has the superior tech, which is why I put him over a Nightwing, because they're around the same age, but having the superior technology of his time, I figured I would go with Batman Beyond because you have the experience, you have the knowledge, and you have the equipment.
Does he have the experience, though? Does he have the experience of a Nightwing? Because I think Nightwing is the better overall hero. I think one-on-one, Nightwing wins that battle.
I don't think Nightwing could stand against Blight. I don't think Nightwing could hold off against a lot of the Batmen of the future. I mean, not the Batman villains of the future.
See, I disagree because there is a stib out there that Bruce Wayne has said that Dick Grayson, Nightwing, is the better fighter. He's more agile because of his circus background. He's more skilled. That
was probably before
he learned his detective skills from Bruce.
Corbin, there's one important factor you're missing here, Corbin, is the fact that half of Terry McGinnis is why he's so good is he's got my guy on the computer.
Yeah.
In
his
ear.
guy in the chair.
His guy in the chair. And you don't have that without.
What I'm trying to tell you, though, is that's why I'm happy that I have him, because I don't have Bruce Wayne, but in a way I kind of do. Because I have him in my corner. That was my thinking. I was going to get Nightwing. I'm like, but you could, if there's a world, I mean, where Nightwing is working at Bloodhaven, where you don't have Batman alongside Nightwing. Whereas if you take Batman Beyond, you're going to have Batman, or at least the Bruce Wayne.
Because Nightwing doesn't need Batman. The training wheels are off. He's out on his own.
I mean,
he's already leading his own team and the Teen Titans and the Titans. The training wheels are off. Terry McGinnis is still in preschool.
He may not be on the same level as Nightwing on certain abilities, but I think we are underestimating just the suit and power base that Terry McGinnis has at disposal. The equipment that Nightwing could dream about having. In general. I mean,
I think it comes down to
was 20 years old and was still considered cutting edge. Like, can we not forget that? It's been updated numerous times. They continue to work on it. It conforms to the size of the wearer, so it makes him stronger because Bruce Wayne was using it to augment his own strength toward the end of his reign. It's what is it able to take? Punches from Superman, electric shocks, water pressure, bullets. I mean, it can take everything. The dude can fly. It can turn invisible. Like, I'm taking some of that, and I have to fight that guy.
So what
I think
where Nightwing has to learn and adapt and overcome. Terry McGinnis has already had that out done for him because Batman pretty much already just figured it all out.
Exactly.
So again, training.
It all comes down to when they fight, guys. Either Nightwing's kicking him out of his crib, or he's busting a hip trying to fight him. One of the two, because it's all depending on when they fight.
I mean, if they're in the suit, I'm taking Batman Beyond. I don't see Nightwing taking care of ink. Let's just say that. I don't see that being something that happens. I don't see him taking care of Blight. I don't see that being something that happens. Whereas Terry can use that. And yes, a lot of it is from Bruce Wayne. I'm not arguing that. That's part of what I consider his strength. There's a lot of training goes to go through. And you're right. Nightwing's been there, did that. But I just feel like Batman Beyond was a solid pick. Maybe not the first overall selection, but hey, it was an emotional decision.
This is your team. It's your explanation.
All right.
I'm just questioning your logic a little bit. But
I mean, think about it.
I am thinking about it.
Technology at his disposal, down to the freaking Batmobile that Terry McGinnis has to work with. Yes, there's more of a learning curve, but Bruce Wayne softens that. And you could say that Nightwing doesn't need that, but I bet you Nightwing would appreciate some of those tools. That's all I'm saying. But that's my first.
If you wouldn't have to think his way out of it like he normally does, and have to have tools to help him.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So what you're saying is Nightwing with that suit would totally wreck him.
Okay, Nightwing with that suit would, but he doesn't have it. But what I'm also trying to say, remember in the Batman animated series, I think it was called, and I'm going way back in the comic brain, I think it was called Dead Souls or something Souls, where Terry didn't have the Batsuit at his disposal, and he had to take down this AI that was operating under the Batsuit. And he used, like, Nightwing's cowl and, like, a tool set from Batman's utility belt, and was able to take it down because he was trying to prove to himself that he was more than the suit. And he did that successfully, I might add, going against the actual Batsuit. All right, so I use that to put in Terry McGinnis' case that there's something more than, he's not a Nightwing. Not many people are. But he's more than a little just wet behind the ears. So that's number one.
He's cool. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. I get what you got to say. I was going to do Nightwing, but it was the tech and having Bruce still in the corner that made me go that way.
Nightwing's a prodigal son, though. You got to.
I feel you might be right. I mean, you might be right on that one. Second for me was Superman. I was just happy to be able to grab him. I don't even think that needs explanation. Power set, one of the greatest heroes in general, great leader, perfect for my team. Boom. Third was Wonder Woman, hand in glove. I was hoping to get the Trinity with Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, but whatever, can't do that. Wonder Woman and Superman, though, great match. Another great warrior, another great leader, and the compatibility between Wonder Woman and Superman or Wonder Woman. Yeah, I said Wonder Woman and Superman you can't beat, so that's there. Supergirl came next. At this point, I started to kind of figure out a pattern. Superman light, in my opinion, as far as power sets and skills and everything. Another strong personality for this team of leaders. Boom. Batwoman, same thing. Batman light, willing to go places that Batman won't, depending on your comic iteration there. Got that military, tactical expertise on that front as well. Kicking costume, boom. Robin, I would have rather taken Dick Grayson for that Robin, but since I wasn't able to, I had to go carry Kelly. Only because I just don't like Damian Wayne.
You can't go in the NFL and pick two different versions of Deion Sanders, all right? You can't pick Deion Sanders on the 49ers versus Deion Sanders in Dallas. You can't go to the NBA and pick Michael Jordan on the Wizards or Michael Jordan on the Bulls. You can't go Michael Jordan 45 versus Michael Jordan 23.
Right, you got to pick one.
Yeah,
you can. All right, fine. Well, I took Carrie Kelly. And for no other logic other than the fact that she knows when to help out. She knows when to stay in her lane. I hate Damian Wayne. And she's a character from literally, in my mind, the best graphic novel of all time. So there, I need a Robin. Boom. After that came Power Girl. Power Girl came next. Great power set. It's in the name. Another person who can stack up with my Superman, with my Wonder Woman, with my Supergirl to have some muscle on this team. Then came Red Robin. She stacks up. I mean, anyway. Then I took Red Robin because
in more ways than one, right?
Yes, absolutely.
There you go. Took Red Robin. Another person who, Tim Drake knows his tech. Another tactical mind. Another person who knows his way out of situations, constantly adapting and updating technology. Between him and Batman Beyond, maybe Terry not knowing how to use all the equipment, but Tim Drake adapting on the fly. Boom. I think that makes a great fit as well. After that was Steel. Soft spot for Steel. One of my favorite characters. Another smart mind who can hold himself up reasonably well in a fight. And
but
fits in
the Shaq version.
And,
yeah. I don't think Shaq's just thinking his way out of things. He's
Shaq always. But okay, I'm not going to do a Shaq impression. But that was a
joke. He
joke.
does have the grappling hook hammer, though. I mean, really.
Exactly.
Let me tell you something, Colby. Get those rebounds. I'm gonna fight those evildoers. And then I'm gonna feed all the orphanage kids.
Okay, now you
Papa John's pizza.
There you
better
go.
Ingredients, better pizza. Better Shack. Papa
There you
John's.
go. There we go. But I took him. I haven't just like wed myself to the Shag version yet, but it's in there. So boom. And after that was Spectre again. Invulnerability, almost a limitless power set. Someone who is like the ultimate cheat code for this team. That in my mind really doesn't need one. But if we need someone to just turn the tables and kind of adapt to the magical elements and other elements that our team just quite frankly doesn't cover, I think Spectre has that in spades. So that is my top 10 for the most versatile Justice League team.
Can't go wrong with Spectre.
No, you cannot. Thank you, sir. That's my 10.
So my team, number 1, I went with Dr. Manhattan because you need that all-powerful, pure energy being that can stand up against the world's biggest threats, even though maybe he's not going to care enough to stop a dark side, or he's going to let his own personal interests play out and kind of wait and see what happens, or just run away to Mars. But, either way, if you need that big power scaler or someone you need to convince to take care of a situation like a Doomsday, you're going to go Dr. Manhattan because you just have that power ready to go in your back pocket. Next, I went with Raven because you can always use someone who's into the dark magic. And you always got to have a little bit of an edgelord on your team. So I went with Raven. Number 3, I had Flash because what is a Justice League team? What is any team in the DC universe if you don't have a speedster? I mean, come on. What the majority of the DC universe is speedsters.
Barry Allen or Wally West?
Got to go Barry Allen.
That's solid.
OG
Barry Allen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that would be Jay Garrett, but
Well, true. That's
Too old school. No.
You gotta go the best of the both. Best of the best in Barry Allen, because you never know when you're gonna need a little bit of CI work on a crime scene. For the detective front, I went in the leadership role. Someone who's normally used to being in the leadership. At number 4, I went Nightwing, because despite what Corbin says, I think he's better than Terry McGinnis. And he doesn't need a suit to make the man. The man makes the suit. The suit shouldn't make the man. That's all I'm gonna say.
We're not gonna do this right now.
That's all I'm gonna say. Number 5, to keep in line with that big heavy hitter. If Dr. Manhattan is off doing his own thing and Superman gets out of line, you got to have someone that can stop a Superman level threat. So I went with Martian Manhunter because we all know who wins that fight. It's Martian Manhunter every time. Again, number 6, I went Static Shock just because he's near and dear to my heart for unknown reasons. Something's always drawn me to that character. Beast Boy, you need a character that can that transforms into an animal or can transform as a rat to get into tight spaces. Get into places maybe someone else on your other team can't get. So I went with Beast Boy at number 7. You never know when you're going to need a punching glove arrow. So I went with number 8, Green Arrow.
Oh my goodness.
Again, you still, you can never have too much firepower. And of course, she's got a nice rack. So I went with Starfire. Not misogynistic at all, women. I just know what I like. Just saying.
Truth is the truth.
And then coming up at number 10, Mr. Irrelevant, although he's not irrelevant at all in my book, in case you need more of that detective skills, because Nightwing is off doing his thing or whatever. I went with the Question. So there it is.
I think we've got the Grizzled Geek and a couple others.
So Mike is listening to us on the thing, but he's not on with us. Why is he not on here?
I don't know. We should have invited him. I guess we need to invite him.
Let's invite him right now. Ask him if he wants to come on.
If you want to, man, you want to come on? We'll add you to the hangout.
So I think we go into spoiler mode because I think that if you haven't seen it yet, that you're not a true fan, anyways. But no, I'm just kidding.
Or you're busy.
Yeah, people have
shoot, man. You've got 4 kids. You understand being busy.
I took my 3-month-old to the movies to watch that. Nothing was keeping me from watching it. And then I watched it and I said, I could have waited for this.
All right, Mike. Hey, Mike said he's going to get his headset. I think he's going to join us.
Was it kind of underwhelming?
Well, we rated it. We gave it a B-. I think it was enough nostalgia that I enjoyed the movie, but it was not as good as for an origin film for Marvel. It wasn't as good as some of the others.
I agree.
I
think B- is good. Like our site, Sam the Movie Mechanic rated it and gave it a 3 out of 5. I would give it 3.5 out of 5, but not better than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I felt like it had certain things that were good about it, and then certain things that were awful about it, and so like the good things kind of had to like drag along the terrible elements.
That's her character, though. Captain Marvel's very stoic. You know, she's not the slapstick, wisecracking superhero type person.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, she's very.
No, I mean, she could have done with a little more charisma than what she showed, but I don't think that was my biggest problem with the movie.
So what was your
biggest problem?
My biggest problem was there was no threat at any time. Even before she unlocked her full potential, she was captured twice, escaped on her own both times, right? Those Skrulls were no match for her, right? And then by the time there was any kind of something that could challenge her, she was full Super Saiyan and nothing. There was no sense of threat or urgency as far as
I agree.
That was my biggest problem with it. Now, when you got a character that powerful, I mean, you look at like Thor, you have to throw up him against some super crazy, powerful thing. But I mean, there was no real. I don't know. Even if you don't throw up against something powerful, I mean, challengers in some way,
Well, and
no, I agree.
Well, she was like so powerful that like she would have made a Super Saiyan look silly. Going back to your Super Saiyan comment.
Yeah.
Like it was ridiculous how like she just belly flops through a fighter ship and just goes,
yeah.
Like what?
All while sporting a mohawk.
Yeah.
Okay, so can I just cite a very weird inconsistency there? She had to wear that like space mask that gave her the mohawk at that part, but then at the end of the movie, all of a sudden she doesn't need the space mask and she can just fly through space.
Yeah,
I thought about that too, and I'm wondering if it had anything to do with the removal of that thing on her neck, if because she wasn't able to use her power to its full effect.
See, but the part where she had the mohawk, the mohawk part, that was already done. That thing was gone.
Well,
I think she didn't realize she was that powerful yet.
I think she created a shield around herself with the, with her energy, and that's probably what it was. But
fair enough.
I don't know. It's the
only time she was. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
I was going to say the only time she's that powerful in the comics is when she's binary, when she's like the Herald of Galactus, right?
Yeah.
Like never was she that powerful as Captain Marvel in the comics. So
yeah, but I wasn't surprised because Kevin Feige said she was going to be the most powerful character yet. So I kind of thought, like near the end of this movie, she seemed to be about as powerful as Thor has been in his last 2 appearances.
I don't know, man.
And I think she's just beginning to realize her potential, and her beginning potential is just as powerful as Thor. So her next potential is going to be crazy, is what it seems like.
Yeah, but I almost wonder if that's a detriment to the ability to put her in a good movie. Like,
yeah, I agree.
You don't want her to be too powerful because the best superheroes have weaknesses, and it doesn't seem like she has any.
Well, and she didn't. I agree with Mike what you were saying earlier, how there was like no threat. I was really hoping that with Ronan showing up, that she and Ronan would get into some kind of
thing.
But then he just leaves. That was a real big disappointment for me.
Yeah,
and he looked weird
there. She's standing there looking at his ship, and he's looking at her, and a good like 20 seconds passes by where she could have just like flown through it and destroyed it, but she doesn't, and he reverts back. And then you could pretty much say that Captain Marvel is to blame for all the crap that Ronan does later, because she could have killed him right there. Like,
good point.
Well, if you take that further, okay, so
Mike, did we lose you?
No,
I'm here.
Then the Guardians wouldn't have come about, in which case Chris Pratt would have never hit Thanos in the face.
Oh boy.
Oh my gosh. It comes full circle. Did anybody else think that this movie would have been a lot better if it was released like in phase 2 or phase 1?
No.
Yes, I think it would have.
I think it came too late.
Well, I think the quality of the movie puts it is on par with the phase 2 movies. I mean, you look at the run of movies we had before this, right? And they've just been really good since like Ragnarok, or even before. So to get a mediocre movie, there's never been a bad one. I don't think there's any of the Marvel movies I thought were bad, but I think this, I don't know. I think it would have coming in where it did because it's coming in between, I guess, Ant-Man and the Wasp, but
Ant-Man and the Wasp was just okay.
Yeah, it was just okay.
It seemed weird to follow up Infinity War with Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, almost like it didn't belong.
Right.
I mean, it was good. I mean, I liked it. It just wasn't,
Oh, I loved Ant-Man and the Wasp, and Paul Rudd is one of my favorite actors in the MCU.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, you're right. That movie is good when it stands on its own. It just seems weird when you watch it in the timeline that MCU has given you.
Yeah.
Well, I loved the end credit scene though when he gets stuck in the quantum realm. Like that was
it was fantastic.
That was cool, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And they all turned to dust. Like that made it come full circle. That was the best part of the movie, in my opinion. But
I was really hoping for some kind of dusting in Captain Marvel, but it didn't happen. But go ahead.
Did you guys stay for the end credits?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't it seem like I don't know. I saw lots of people getting up and leaving. I don't know, but did it seem like so Captain America comes on, and then you see Don Cheadle and it's Don Cheadle, right, and Black Widow that are there, the three of them, right?
I think it's Falcon
and Bruce Banner.
Yeah, Bruce Banner.
And Bruce Banner's there too, right? And they're looking at the pager, and the pager stops working, and she turns around, and Captain Marvel's there, right?
Yeah.
Didn't it seem like her acting ability was not on par with the other four people that were in the room? Like, even in that moment, didn't it seem like she was on the outside?
It seemed cheesy.
What's that?
It was cheesy, I thought. I thought it was real cheesy.
It just seemed like that they were putting together. Yeah, it was weird. It seemed out of place, and I don't know. Like, it would make sense if it was Thor or Vision, right? And because they kind of have this out of place demeanor to them. But Captain Marvel has. So you have to tell me she's known that she's been human for the last 30 years, close to 30 years, right? And now she's coming back, and she doesn't even have that human element. Like, it just didn't seem like she was human. It seemed like she was just, I don't know. It, like in the beginning of this movie where she's kind of like awkward and weird, and like because she doesn't have that human element, and then she starts to get a little bit more personable as the movie went on, and then it seemed like end credits that she was odd and weird again.
It did seem a little
off.
I don't know.
It was weird.
I don't know.
It was weird.
I thought it was cheesy, but I didn't think it was that.
I think they were trying to portray her as having like progressed over time into like a more powerful hero, who had like been through some stuff, but like it didn't come off super great.
My question is too is why didn't Nick Fury contact her in the first Avengers or during Ultron or during even when Thanos was originally there? Like, why? I don't know. It just seemed like there was a lot of opportunities to call her.
Yeah, that's the problem with this. That's the other problem with this movie is anytime you do a prequel or anything back in the past, or any kind of time travel, anything like that, there's always the chance of messing up continuity or bringing up a bunch of questions. Like if Nick Fury lost his eye back then, why is he? And he's only like level 3 security level. Then why does his damaged retina still work to unlock those files in Winter Soldier? You know what I mean? There's a lot of questions that you can, you know what I mean? You have to jump through a lot of hoops. You can answer that, right? You can make, he had changed it or whatever. But I mean, there's a lot of hoops you got to jump through whenever you're going back in the past and laying things down like that. So that's the risk.
I didn't even think about that till you just said that's right. So he would have had to have full function of his eye way later into where he actually lost it because he had.
That was a plot point, was that they never erased his damaged retinas out of the security system because they didn't think to. But he was only level 3 clearance. It shows on his badge level 3 clearance back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
wouldn't the
that's
retina
interesting.
scan rise up the ranks with him?
What happened? Why wouldn't it? If it did, why wouldn't it be erased with the other one?
I don't know. That's a good point. I don't know.
But wouldn't it be reading his retina
That's deep
as
nerd.
it was?
That's deep nerd stuff going on right there. But yeah,
Yeah, it just seemed weird, and it convoluted a lot of things, and I hope that Endgame doesn't suffer by her.
I was
being in
talking with Kelsey, my wife, about this earlier today, actually, and how a lot of movies do this, where the continuity gets messed up, and I just feel like you just have to accept that it's just a dumb comic book movie, and it's not going to be.
yeah.
It's not always going to match, you know.
And
Dumb comic book movie. This is our life.
I don't want to like be like too negative about the movie because there were some good things about it. So I do want us to talk about the good things. But
I agree.
the other things that I really didn't like about the movie was partly.
I want to talk about the good things, but here's more stuff I didn't
Well,
like.
just before we get to that, here's my last thoughts about what was bad about it. So we were talking about the end credits scene not being great, and almost all the end credits scenes that we've seen from at least from the bigger Marvel movies, like the origin stories and stuff, have been like twists, you know, like Ant-Man, the last Ant-Man had the Quantum Realm thing, Infinity War had the calling of Captain Marvel in the first place, you know, like there's always like a twist, and then like the movies aren't like super predictable usually. Like I felt like Captain Marvel, it was like I predicted everything that was going to happen, like every big plot.
So you predicted that the Skrulls were going to be good guys?
Yeah, because there's only two sides, right? And like the Krell like seemed totally sketchy and evil right from the beginning, you know, like they she goes and talks to people and they're like to the you know, the what do they call it? The thinker is not the thinker, it's like the Supreme Intelligence. Yeah. She goes and talks to the Supreme Intelligence and like they're just like, you fight for us, but if you don't do it right, we can take away what we've given you. It's like, okay, you're bad guys. Like you're obviously bad guys, and there's only two sides, so obviously the other side is going to be the good guys. You know? Like,
right. Yeah, I guess I didn't see that coming. I did think it was weird just from the original marketing that the Skrulls were going to be the bad guys, which in the comics the Skrulls are, but the Kree in the MCU so far have always been bad. Like. In Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., there's a pretty big time period where they're bad. Ronan the Accuser, a Kree, bad. Like in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and other times, like the Kree are consistently bad guys. So when I saw the marketing for this and I was like, wait, she's a Kree, but she's good. What? Like I thought that was weird. And so I just kind of thought it was one's bad, one's badder. And so I guess I didn't see the Skrull thing coming. It was a nice surprise though, because Ben Mendelsohn, who is Talos or Talos, however you say his name. That actor is always a bad guy. Sheriff Nottingham, Ready Player One, Director Krennic in Rogue One, and I like him, but I was getting very tired of him because he's always the same exact role. So it was really nice seeing him as a good guy and more comedic and a family man. Like it was really refreshing.
Honestly,
I loved him.
He was great.
He was my favorite character in it. And I think that switch was the best part about the movie. They took a standard kind of a bland bad guy out of the comics because they're always just generic bad guys in the comics. You know, except for a few special ones, but they're still bad. And they gave him, you know, goals and, you know, sympathy. And, you know, I really like that switch. That's my favorite part about the movie.
Yeah, it was really funny. And how he was so afraid of the cat and Nick Fury's like, it's a cat. What are you afraid of? And then at the end of the movie, when you realize that it's like this octopus monster thing, that was freaking hilarious. Goose was great.
Yeah, Goose.
I felt like it came too late though.
What, Goose?
Yeah,
I thought it made it funnier.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think I liked how they did it because it kind of like built it up and built it up and built it up, and you're like, when is this going to happen? Then it was just like super shocking how it was all the tentacles coming out. Like,
absolutely, it was like something from the Upside Down place.
Yeah.
Stranger Things.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk more about the positive things. But before we do, I do want to mention one thing from the post-credit scene that I am very confused by. Captain America had a beard, and in the Endgame trailer, he doesn't. When does this thing get shaved, and why?
That is true.
He looks so much better with a beard.
Yeah, he instantly becomes less credible when he shaves his beard.
Yeah.
Like, this is the guy that's going to save us? I don't think so.
He either needs the beard or the mask. One of the two. Either have the mask on or the beard.
So I'll start with some of my positives, which it sounds like just in general, I liked the movie a little bit more than you guys. I wrote down quite a few notes. And this is a positive, but it's also a negative. Coulson was fun, but he was in it far less than I would have wanted.
Absolutely.
Right.
I agree.
I already said this, but Ronan was not in it nearly enough. I liked Jude Law. He was good, but his character was kind of meh. It's kind of bland.
Yeah, that was another thing.
kinda
Like,
cheesy.
you totally knew she was going to shoot him at the end. Like, it was just like,
Yeah, that
okay,
was
super cheesy.
Well, yeah. But I really liked the part where she gets her powers and she's taking everyone down on that ship. I was just like, holy crap, that's badass. I was just like so into it. I really liked that scene.
Yeah, before she became like ultra superpowers, she was like still struggling to fight them a little bit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And,
She did become way OP, and I was like, well, this is kind of not interesting anymore.
Yeah. But I agree. Those fight scenes were really cool.
Yeah, and also, sorry, another little gripe. Sorry, guys. How did the little girl know how to operate alien tech to change the color scheme on Captain Marvel's outfit?
Yeah, that part. I was like, when she's
just like doing alien tech. I'm like,
Yeah, especially in the 90s. Like,
well, and it's like this touch screen that you move your fingers a certain way. It's like, how does this little girl know how to change the color scheme here? What's that's a nitpicky thing. I didn't really care that much, but I was thinking, this is advanced alien tech. How does she know what she's doing?
Yeah, back when they had
technology and she's young. Same way we could program our parents' VCRs.
Same way I didn't know how to use my iPad better than I do.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of VCRs, I also enjoyed some of the 90s nostalgia. The music that they kept bringing in, Blockbuster.
The music was awesome.
The Mallrats thing.
That was
if you guys didn't realize, Stan Lee was actually reading his lines from the cameo he does in Mallrats that was in 1995.
That's a goof. That's a goof too, because so that whole timeline is happening in June, right?
Yeah.
And Mallrats was filmed that year, but in March through April.
Oh, really?
So he would have already filmed his lines by that time, by the
but
summer.
You're missing the bigger picture. The bigger picture is that Stan Lee exists as himself in the Marvel Universe, and he has a line in Mallrats where it says he created the Hulk Spider-Man.
That's true. That's true. That's true. No,
I did not realize this, guys. That's cool.
I didn't realize it either. I saw it on the internet later, and then I was like, oh, that'd be a good thing to kind of bring up tonight.
Have you guys have both seen Mallrats, right?
No, I haven't.
Oh, man.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I've seen the cameo.
That's one of Jason Lee's, like, it's Jason Lee, right, Mike?
Yeah, Jason Lee. That's his best. Yeah.
That's his best role, man.
Amazing.
Yeah. I love that movie. But yeah, can I say the beginning? What would you call that? The crawl that they have, the Marvel Studios crawl in the beginning, where it was all Stan Lee.
Yeah, the tribute. Yeah,
that was absolutely fantastic. I do have one.
Welcome, everyone, to the Absolute Geek Podcast, where 1/4 of us clearly suffers from jaundice. I'm Matt.
I'm Snide Kyle. I'm Brent.
And this week we have filling in for Corbin and Brian. We have Mike from Grizzled Geek. Thanks for coming on tonight with us, Mike.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Short notice at that.
Short notice, I know. He's a champion.
Right?
Johnny on the spot.
Somebody's a professional, and at least it's you.
Coming in clutch like a champion.
Right?
I know.
Somebody's batting 500. Or 1,000. That's what it is. That's
There
what
you go.
I'm
That's
saying,
halfway.
I'm not a baseball guy. My bad.
So you look like you're taking the old drinking game to a new height there, Kyle, with you're setting a mood.
And I'm going to tell scary stories.
Are you part of the Midnight Society from Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yes.
The Midnight Society.
I don't know
Growing my age,
Ugh.
you're probably like, what the fuck is a Midnight Society?
Oh, now it's getting worse. God damn it.
Yeah, what'd you do?
Oh, Mr. Corbin, I'm on my way home now.
What'd you do?
It's too late. Too late.
Too late. We're just rolling with it. Fuck it. We'll do it live.
That's right.
We got someone better than you, Mr. Corbin. So
Yeah.
you just have your car troubles, all right?
This guy.
Look, I just happen to have a studio right here. I just jumped right in.
Yep.
There you go.
Corbin NBA.
Right. I like that Grizzled Geek shirt.
Oh yeah, I just kind of threw a shirt on, and realized that all my shirts are these shirts. So
I just threw whatever was clean on. It just happens to be my
this happens to be my.
shirt.
You can get this at Grizzle Goods at Teespring. No.
Oh, I just found this today.
Oh, this old
Nice.
thing? It's just laundry
Oh, yeah,
day. It's just
any old
laundry
thing.
day.
This is like granny panties.
I think there's something to be said for wearing your own shirt on your own show.
That's right. That's why I do it on someone else's show.
I wish I had a
Not-
Grizzled Geek
Not like I
shirt.
don't wear it on my own. No.
You're just
We'll hook you up.
slowly collecting shirts from other podcasts, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I'm trying.
So, Mike, I want to thank you for coming on and on such short notice and filling in for us. Why don't you go ahead and tell everyone a little bit about Grizzle Geek and what you guys cover and what happens over there?
Sure. We have a podcast we do on Thursdays. Thursdays 6:30 Arizona time, and basically we just talk about nerd news, geek stuff. Probably very similar to what you guys talk about on yours. But we have a YouTube channel, YouTube/The Grizzled Geek. Where we put up the podcast there because we film it, and then we do reaction videos, and we do, just general nerd stuff, review movies. Yeah, just it's stuff that me and my friends were sitting around talking about anyway. We decided to turn on a camera while we do it. So,
What made you decide on the name Grizzled Geek?
the alliteration. No, there's a a little gray in the beard. So,
You too?
yeah, a little something. Just a little bit. So, just happened to. Well, when I first started this, like most all the cool nerd names were taken. So
Like Absolute
finally.
Geek.
Yeah, like Absolute Geek. All those. So
Damn it! It was already gone. God
Yeah.
damn it.
what rhymes with gear? What starts with a G? Grizzled. Sweet. It's not taken. There you go.
Absolute Geek might become available because we're talking about changing the name of the podcast to Four Fat Guys Talking or My Cholesterol is Rising.
Yeah, we thought about that too, but it was too on the nose for us. We're like,
Yeah.
I want it to be called the Absolute Grizzled Couch Cruncher.
You'll soon have the power once you collect all those shirts, like power rings. You'll have
Dude, I will have the ultimate power.
That's right.
I'll be able to fit into any circle.
But yeah, that's basically it. Grizzle Geek. We have a YouTube channel. We talk about nerd stuff.
Nice.
So you
How
guys,
many episodes you done?
What's that?
How many episodes have you done?
Well, we've been doing it for about not quite 4 years now, but everyone keeps asking us because once we started doing these live, we do them live on Thursdays now. We started renumbering them, so we have people asking us, and we're confused everybody over on Stitcher. And they're like, wait, why'd you guys start over at 1 again? Because somebody jumped on and said, I remember watching your podcast like 2 years ago, and now you're on number 13. What happened? So just to confuse everybody, we decided to, pull the comics and
Yeah, you
start
rebirth.
over. Yep, exactly. The new and improved Grizzle Geek podcast.
someone from Couch Crunchers thinks we should be called Absolutely Grizzled Bog Cruncher.
That's true.
Now we've
Okay.
taken it too far.
Yeah.
Way to kill our joke. What? A whole
Thanks a lot, Lance.
Yeah. And that's even Lance, but I don't know who that is from Couch Crunch. I'm assuming it's Lance. But
Better
a whole
not be.
like 5 minutes into our show, you've already killed our joke. Thanks. Thanks a lot. So what night do you, so you guys don't record live like us and Couch Crunchers? You pre-record your stuff?
No, actually, we started doing it live. We do it every Thursday now.
That's why you renumbered, right?
That's why I renumbered. So we're now the live shows are.
I listen, Matt does not.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
See? There you
Yeah.
go.
Apologize.
The Grizzled Geek New 52.
Exactly, the new 52. So we're on coming up next week will be episode 19. But everything else we do obviously is pre-recorded. All our other videos that we do.
My job here is just to strictly re-ask the same questions Kyle has already asked.
Nice. Well, you're
that's
doing
what
a
I
very
do
good job of it. I think it's.
I try.
You're knocking it out of the park. You're also batting 1,000.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
Go sports, go.
Go.
Killing it.
Do the thing. Get the points.
Killing it.
Dude.
Throw it in the hoop or whatever you need to do.
Yeah, touchdown.
All right. Well, before we get started, do you guys have anything interesting that happened to you this week that you want to talk about? Share.
Nothing happens. I'm a very bland and boring person.
Nothing
Didn't get to
happened.
go to Filiberto's this week, and I'm pissed.
Yeah.
I've cut all the junk food out of my life, and now I'm an irritable bastard.
Yeah, right. I realized that all the sucrose and shit that I had was actually keeping my rage levels down.
The sodium keeps me calm.
Wow.
As you can all tell, Almato Del Destroyo is back from his first Lucha Libre wrestling match.
In the middle of the cockfights.
From the middle of the cockfights, and we're not talking about chickens in Guadalupe.
Nice.
As
How'd you
my
do?
origin story goes. I won.
Nice. If we're gonna get into a
The
cockfight,
whole thing.
You beat the cock?
I beat the
Yeah.
cock. I beat it up so well it spit on me.
yeah.
Damn.
If you're gonna get in a cockfight, you don't want to lose.
That's right.
That's-
Established dominance.
You can't lose. Can't lose to the cock.
There's no losing
No.
in cockfights.
There's only winners.
everybody.
Everybody wins.
Everybody wins in cockfighting. That's why they do
I'm
it.
thinking about filming it and putting it on DVD circa 2000 and like bum fights.
Oh yeah.
Cockfights.
Yeah, I'm in talk with Brazzers to be a sponsor. They're gonna.
Hey, these
they're
aren't
gonna
roosters. What the fuck?
Brazzers is gonna write my. They're gonna write my promos and my storylines for me. When I come out,
Fucking great.
when I come out to do my wrestling, I'm gonna be called the Cook.
There you go.
You're gonna be called El Mato del Destroyo.
El Mato
But
del
that-
Destroyo.
At that rate, you're gonna hit your subscriber goal in no time.
I know.
Yeah.
200 will
Finally.
be nothing at that point. Watch me come out to
So-
the ring.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Cock and all. Because he's cocking it. He's cocking it.
So let's talk a little bit about the Joker. I know we did our review last week on Couch Crunchers. If you guys haven't seen that yet, check out Couch Crunchers and check out our perspective reviews on the Joker there. I figured to give Brent, Kyle a little bit of time to talk about it, and Brent, and Mike hasn't seen it, so I don't want to spoil it too much for him.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Everybody
okay.
dies.
Everybody
Apparently
comes with me want to
everyone's
talk
already
about
doing
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So my consensus was 4 out of 5. I liked it. Kyle did not care for it. What did you think of the Joker, Brent?
Me, I love the movie. I thought it
What
was
did you love
fucking-
about it? How many couch cushions
Well,
do you
the thing
give it?
is, how many couch cushions? How many fucking cushions I got on my couch? How many I gotta afford this time?
There's got to be at least 5 to
It's
make it
4 out of
easy to
yeah.
allow.
It's 5, and you can throw in a throw pillow and an ottoman and all kinds of
An
other
ottoman,
fucking
come here.
furniture that you want to.
A Persian rug.
Yeah, well, it's not part of the couch. It just makes the room tie together.
Yeah, we're crossing streams here on the rating system here.
Yeah, right. Wow, it's so inclusive, and it's so non-descriptive. Regardless, I don't know. Like personally, I'd give it a 4 out of 5 on Star-wise or whatever the fuck. Couch cushions. And the reason it's just because I wasn't really actually expecting it to be just a solid character story, like a character study. It's a really good character study. I was just like, oh fuck, okay. And just regardless if it was in the framework of Joker or not, it's just a solid character study. And I like it because it's more of a cerebral movie than I expected it to be. Because DC has been batting 1,000.
No, man.
No, they really haven't. They've been striking out real hard with me.
You didn't find it like it was like I got it was a character build. I got it was you've seen this escalation to it.
Yeah,
but I wish they would have escalated it faster and then a little bit more shit pops off.
Well, the thing is, the only problem I personally had, I legitimately, and this is where you're going to be like, what the fuck? No, because your thing is you wish you would have seen things more like faster or at least get to the point quicker. I wish I would have saw where it got to just a little bit extra. I wish it went longer.
So like the aftermath of he truly spilled out to society.
Yeah, and the thing is though, after really thinking about it, I'm trying to avoid spoilers as hard as possible because I want Mike to see it because I think it's a solid ass movie.
Right.
Regardless, yeah. But after really thinking about it and just kind of re-going over the movie, I'm like, okay, I didn't actually need to see more of this because of how I think the movie actually went. But for my first scene, I was like, I really wish I saw more things go off when they went off. Just for our first outing.
How'd you like it? How'd you like it in terms of a Batman movie universe movie? Because it looks like I know Joaquin Phoenix is going to do a good job playing a crazy guy. I was just kind of I don't like it being kind of ancillary to the Batman mythology kind of thing. I look at it remember that movie First Night with Richard Gere and Sean Connery? I actually thought it was a decent movie, but it was a horrible King Arthur movie.
Right.
It just wasn't those characters.
I think. Well, the thing is, I like it because it's fitting in let's say the universe of the DC or Batman universe. Essentially, I think it's really interesting. And I think I know they said they're not going to do anything more with this this story. They're it's just its own one-off.
Yeah, it's
I do think it would be a very interesting way to go forward because they kind of set up a lot of really interesting character parts and things of how they connect.
So I got a really good plot for the next movie if they decide to do one. So they should listen up.
They should listen up. Listen up, people. Kyle's about to educate you. He's about to fool you.
When those two people died in the alley and there's that kid, what he needs to do is train. And when we train and he's going after vengeance, and what he needs to do is he's going to figure out a way. He's going to try to stop crime, and he's going to do it with a mask on.
Come on, ninja.
He's going to have a cowl. And he's going to run around the night, and he's going to beat people to a pulp.
He's going to be Jason.
Maybe he should take up the symbol of some kind of
wear a mask and start murdering people.
He should be more like Michael Myers.
There you go.
And when he turns 30, he can beat up this Joker guy when he's 60. Because he's not going to be able to do anything.
Right.
So what's going to happen is it's going to inspire another Joker.
Shoot him in the face.
And he's going to be in a cave, and he's going to have all these artifacts inside the cave, and that's what he's going to do. And his butler is going to help him, and that's going to be the next movie that they're going to do. So, Hollywood, you're welcome. I gave you your next story.
I heard that he's going to have such a fetish for coin collecting that he's going to have a giant penny.
Giant penny in there, yeah. And his superpower should be super embezzlement.
Will be the penny of Earth.
There you go.
Yeah.
Super embezzlement. Well, you guys are having an interesting conversation. I know one of the reasons Kyle didn't like it is because he doesn't like going to the movies. You guys are having an interesting conversation in our pre-show a little bit about the thrill of going to the movies and how now it's kind of a spectacle. And what kind of were you talking about with that, Brent?
Well, the thing is so movies obviously there's the whole thing with Martin Scorsese. There's these movies, the Marvel movies are not cinema. It's they're just technically bad cinema. But for how cinema used to be, it's you go out to the movies to be able to see these films, art forms or whatever, in the movie theater itself. And that's all it was you go to see a movie because that was an event within itself. But now they've become just so banal and they had to keep adding more shit. Now it's more like theme park rides at this point. Because if you go to the 4D IMAX shit, they got shaking chairs and shit, 3D fucking 4D effects and shit like that, loud ass speakers, and people have
Somebody goes out and throws a bucket of water in your face.
right, yeah, there's a flash,
Mellow vision would be awesome.
Gallagher, yeah, whatever.
Yes,
And-
smell-o-vision, because you want to smell dude's sweaty ball sack as he's
Yeah, right.
fighting
Some guy
and crying.
rips one right in your
As it
mouth.
jumps and plops on your head, you get a whiff
That's
of
what I'm saying, like so, like
sweat.
become like less
Famunda.
people go to, yeah, right. There you
Aw.
go. Famunda cheese.
What cheese?
Meg
Famunda
Master.
cheese.
So the thing is, people go to movies now not because they want to go see a film, but they want to have like an experience. And when it's just like that's why you see more and more people are like, okay, we go to the movies and they have like shitty ass people there almost all the time. If you're in a regular ass movie theater, like it's always people that are talking on their phone or just some shit. And it's because like that's just so normal to them. They're like, oh, what am I? There's nothing special about being in the movie theaters anymore. Now that we have like direct, like all these direct like video services and shit, right? Like, why would the fuck would I want to go to a movie theater if I could just download it on like fucking Amazon Prime or some shit like that?
God,
Right.
I wish we could do new releases like that.
Welcome, everyone, to the Absolute Geek Podcast. My name is Matt.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Brian.
I'm Corbin.
I'm Travis.
And I'm Mike.
I was gonna say,
Hey.
oh, it's gonna be a cockfight. It's gonna be who's gonna play chicken there? Who's gonna say it first?
Yeah, right. little bit of a standoff there, huh?
Yeah.
Welcome,
Are we
everyone.
cockfighting tonight, boys? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, that's what we're doing. Welcome, everyone, to quarantine day, like 10 here in the States? I don't know about over in Japan. What's going on over there, Travis? Are you guys in quarantine too, or?
Yeah, since they canceled the Olympics, the governor of Tokyo has pretty much come out and said, like, hey, don't leave your houses, but nothing like official on there. This weekend is the big cherry blossom viewing weekend, so all the cherry blossoms are in full bloom. So Japanese are dying to get out of their houses and go sit underneath those allergy motherfuckers and eat sandwiches, but not today.
So
Not today,
So
gentlemen.
everyone can
Japan has
stare
a
at it
governor?
like that, huh?
Tokyo, yeah. What do you think? It was like samurai lords,
Or an emperor?
yeah. We do have an emperor. We have a prime minister, and
It's like the
we have, of course,
it's like the
Shogun
Ming-
warriors.
the Ming Dynasty emperor, or what?
I watched a really
No, I
cool
should
thing
know.
on the Emperor of Japan and stuff, and one of them was talking about this special sword that's like the most famous sword in Japanese lore, and it's called the grass cutter sword, I think it's called, and it's one of 3 or 4 items that they have to have present whenever the new emperor is crowned or whatever, and it's people are really looking forward, and I don't know, it might have already happened, but they were really looking forward to this old emperor getting ready to die so they can give it to his son, because that's when they pull these items out of these really famous monasteries and stuff that people have never seen. And when the emperor does his, takes his oath, he's got to be touching each one of those things. One of them is a mirror, one of them's that grass cutter sword, and there's a jewel or something. And people have seen the mirror and the jewel.
Jewels
but
haven't been around that long.
What?
Jewels haven't been around that long.
Yeah. And the sword is the only item that people have never seen. And so people are looking forward.
I like that. Someone forgets the sword, like, Toshi-san, your job is to remember the sword. He's like, I got the jewel. I don't know what you want.
Close enough.
All right. Well, before we get started here tonight, I want to make a quick announcement that if you guys have been waiting, and Kyle can model it, for the Kyle signature series, no, sir, that is an incorrect statement shirt.
Everybody?
You can get them on our Etsy store now. They are now available. Kyle is rocking the beautiful Kyle signature series shirt right now. So head on over to our Etsy store and pick one of those up, and all of the proceeds that go to support the show. So
Gonna grow out the mullet so you match the shirt image now.
Oh yeah, it's a slick shirt too, by the way. I gotta say. It is a sick
I do
shirt.
like that logo on the sleeve. So that way when you're driving with that window down, you got your hand right there, everyone pulling up to you can see you representing Kyle there. I like that.
I was wearing this shirt the other day, and I was in the grocery store, and people would look at me, and they looked at my shirt, and then they looked back at me like they wanted to say something, but they just didn't.
This guy wearing his own face on his shirt?
Right? What a narcissistic
No.
face.
The audacity.
It takes balls right there. It takes balls to wear your own face on a shirt.
Somebody has to.
Someone's got to do it. So you brought the Corona to the party again?
Yes, I did, because
Stuff.
I slept too long after my hard, long day at work and my long commute, and I had to go take a nap.
Your traffic jam in the hallway. You had to step over a pillow, right?
Yep.
Because you work from home. Because your studio is your office.
I got in a backup between two guinea pigs.
There you go. Yep. Cash on the big guinea pig. All right, guys. So this week, as everyone knows, if you're in the States and you listen to us, or pretty much everywhere right now, there's really nothing new going on because everything's shut down. I mean, other than Diamond shutting down and pretty much single-handedly destroying the comic book industry. We'll see how that goes. But
which is kind of shitty, though, is like when I was at Fantastic World Comics, which, big shout out to those guys. What a nice freaking store they have. You walk in there, shout out to those guys, man. They've got it nice, set it nice, organized, clean, open, friendly. And you walk in there and they have books on their walls and in their cases. They do not mind having the big guns sitting out for you to fucking Google over. So,
Do they have very many long boxes you can root through?
Just tables and tables and tables of them.
Good.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean it's really worth the drive if you're going to go out there. And it was hard too. Like I was talking to guys and laughing, having a good time. And there's so many cool books on the wall in the case. I keep going like this. I got that book. Oh, I really want that book. And they're telling the story, man. All I can see is fucking Amazing Fantasy 15 in the corner of my eye and fucking First Vision. And, I just kept.
Yeah, Kyle sent me a photo, and in the photo alone was the first appearance of the Vision, Spider-Man 122, 129, Amazing Fantasy 15. Like, it just all these, like, beautiful glory books.
That's awesome.
First thing.
Yeah, first appearance of the Thing.
How was their selection of graphic novels, trade paperbacks, my stuff?
You know what? I don't care about those, so I didn't even look for them.
Fine. That's okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But
why can't I?
I'm with you, Corbin. That's why Corbin and I are so buff from all this trade waiting.
Where's my book? Yeah, you get it. We get it. You know, Travis.
You can't build any upper body strength lifting up those single floppies. You gotta get some trades, baby. Get some trade weight.
All day.
Mike knows what we're talking about.
Where's that? Which way's the gym, Corbin?
That way. No, I'm playing. I don't know.
If Kyle tells you where the gym is, you get a nice little portrait in it. Go ahead, show us where the gym is, Kyle. Pop that Kyle face in there on that arm.
No, I'm sorry. I said Thing. It's Thanos, Brian. It's Thanos. I said Thing because it's Captain Marvel.
What am I missing out
I'm thinking of the cover where Thing is on the Captain Marvel.
Right, you mean Fantastic Four #1 is what you mean, right?
Yeah. Sorry, that was my bad. But they've got like the first Blade. There's a lot of cool stuff in that picture. So
that was only one small piece of a case.
Yeah,
it's cool.
So we're checking out.
Yeah. What were we gonna say, Kyle?
Just says we're checking out.
Definitely, cool dudes up there too. Check out that store for sure.
For sure.
So we decided Corbin came to the table in one of our chats and said, hey, check this guy's out. He's a basketball dude. There's no March Madness, so I created a Marvel Universe bracket. So I figured, we always have this debate is who's the better Marvel Universe character. And I figured what better way to figure that out than right here, right now, in a bracket style tournament to determine the best Marvel
Where's
Universe
our theme
character.
music? Where's the theme music?
There's no theme music.
Oh,
You want theme music? I'll give you theme music. There's your theme music. There's theme music. That's all you get. So of course I had to bring in a panel of experts here.
Where?
had to assemble much like the Avengers had to assemble the panels of experts to kind of break down and decide who is the best Marvel Cinematic Universe character so far. So the way we're going to do this is
It's cinematic universe. It's not. It's actual
cinematic universe.
Okay.
So
someone did not look at the brackets, Brian.
I have not looked
Never
at it.
prepare, dude. I never prepare, bro.
That's the best
That's
way
right.
to do
I have all the right answers right here, so we're good.
Oh wow, there you
You
go.
actually printed it up and filled it out.
So my
Actually
handbook
printed
Marvel
out-
Universe.
That's the whole joy of the March Madness bracket is that's sitting there and debating it and then crossing it off, second guessing yourself, and then realizing at the end that you have come up with the correct answers for all of them.
I have never done March Madness. Somebody explained it to me like right before quarantine time. What actually went involved into it? I've never done it. I didn't know I was actually supposed to fill something out.
Wow.
You're good. So
Did you fill something out?
Now's the part of March Madness where actually we start laying some money down, gentlemen. I feel like everyone starts betting like comics. Who can bet comics? I bet you 3 first appearances of the Thing. That
all right. So the way we're gonna do this is we have the bracket made up. Thanks to Corbin. I'm gonna put it on the screen here in a minute and share it with everyone. We're gonna run through the bracket, talk about the matchups, and then the way we're gonna determine the winner is we're gonna do it by a dice roll. We're gonna roll a d20, one for each character. Highest number wins. If there's for some reason a tie, we're gonna go to the panel vote. So the panel, we're gonna talk about the matchups, who we think should win.
Highest number wins.
What's that?
So you have 2 characters and you roll a dice and it's a 15. Who wins?
So we're gonna say, okay, we're gonna roll for like Tony Stark, whatever they get. Say they get a 12, and then we roll for T'Challa, and he gets a 20. T'Challa wins and goes forward.
But
And
what
Tony
if it's
starts out.
that doesn't make any sense? Like it's like Thor versus Ant-Man.
That's the fun of it. That's the fun of March Madness. Is you never know when the underdog is
I get
gonna,
it.
Yeah,
gonna
that team out of
bust
nowhere
the
with the
bracket
shocker.
and knock out the number 1 seeded team.
Down goes Duke and all that
Yep,
good stuff.
exactly. That is the fun of March Madness.
Now, if you're playing at home, you can
we gotta have a way that he beats him though.
Why? Well, that's the fun of the upset.
We can
That
put our
is
heads
the-
together and
That is
think of
the
one.
thrill of the upset.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
know,
like that
but
idea,
why-
though.
why did
I
he
like
get
the idea of
upset?
deciding
Like-
how they beat them.
Yeah, we can throw it. We can throw it out there and decide how they beat them.
Like
we're the
since
experts on
last
the
year.
topic, guys. We're the experts here. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, that's why I called in the panel of experts.
Look at us. Look at us.
Now I'm taking this as best character. I'm not taking this as who can beat who. Now I guess you can decide any way you want how you want to make your expert vote.
I kind of went back and forth between it. I'm not gonna lie. 'Cause
Yeah.
some of us like, oh, this guy's a better guy, and then one was like, well, like it's a toss up.
Yeah, some of them were tough. Some of them I did not care. Some of them like I don't give a shit who wins in this place.
Isn't
Yeah.
that the fun of March Madness? So a lot of times you don't care about either team or who wins and who loses.
Now,
So,
if you're playing at home, I feel like there's 2 ways that you can tally up your votes. You can either do it first bracket round victory, that's 1 point. If you get someone who wins in the first round, 1 point for each of your wins, 2 points for the second bracket round, 3 points, and so on and so forth. Corbin, am I making sense to you here?
Yeah, this is not really
Okay.
not.
Okay, why don't we do this?
Or you could do
I
an
don't
ultimate
really
victor at the
understand
end.
How it works? So pretend there's one other guy out there that's listening to us that has no idea how to do a bracket. What has to be done?
So pull the bracket up on the screen. Pull that bracket up on the
Are
screen.
you
Let's
the-
go to that bracket, ladies and gentlemen.
are you that other guy out there that doesn't know anything about a bracket, Kyle?
With me, I have got our couch cruncher.
Cameron, the Silver Screen Surfer.
I am Max, the gamer guy, and we have got a special guest with us. Introduce
I'm
yourself,
Mike.
sir.
Mike from the Grizzled Geek.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, Mike. Really appreciate it. This is kicking off. Well, not kicking off. It's continuing our Easy Nerdcast month, which is funny because I live in Colorado. But hey, I lived in Arizona for my entire life until the last 6 months.
That counts.
So, yeah, we read off some headlines and we determine whether or not we think they are fabulous or fabulous.
Nice.
Yeah. Thank you. So
It's a fun word to say, right, Mike?
Oh, totally is. Got a few here on my phone. So let's start off with one from the CW, which Cameron's a weirdo and doesn't watch it. So
Cameron, come on, man.
So it's actually not news, but it's a rumor. Fandom Wire I saw came out with some news, kind of news, that the CW is planning on making a Superman show set in that same Arrowverse. Yes. And it would have Tyler Hoechlin, and I'm pretty sure it would be set in the same world. It would be that same Superman that we've seen. It wouldn't be, with Arrow and the Flash on their Earth. It would be on her Earth. So what do you guys think? Fab or flub on that?
Fabulous.
I'd heard that too, and actually I agree. I think it's fabulous. I might actually watch this one, as long as it's not super whiny like the other ones.
Have you watched him at all, Tyler Hoechlin?
He's a great Superman.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah, he's really good. He's
really
very
good.
Traditional. Yeah.
And if the movies aren't going to do Superman justice, if they're not going to do any more with him, then why not TV? But
exactly.
The ones that are doing it right.
It could be their possibility of bringing him in to go live, like do the movie, have a tie-in finally. Because I think haven't they been trying to do that
with this TV shows? No, I don't think so. I don't think they've ever had any intent of doing that.
That's too bad.
Kind of lame. But then again, I mean, Marvel really hasn't integrated theirs that well. Like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is in the MCU, but it's pretty separate.
Ever since the TV and the movie version split, they haven't really had any interaction.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure that's changing. I really hope it does because they just feel so separate. It's not as fun. No, I totally agree though. Fab on that. If you haven't watched Supergirl, like when Tyler Hoechlin, I think that's how you say his name, is on, he's really good. He's a great Superman, so check him out.
I haven't seen him, so I will do that.
You should. All right, well, we were speaking of Marvel, so here's one. Netflix cancels Marvel Iron Fist after Season 2.
We talked about it the other night with Mike.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but this is good.
Flub.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Flub.
Yeah.
I agree, man. Granted, yeah, I mean, I'm one of the few people that liked Season 1, but still, I don't know. Season 2 was a big improvement, so it's really disappointing to see them end the show now.
Especially with the promise of the way it ended. Season 2 ended. The promise of what was coming, you're like, I want to see all that stuff.
No, completely agree, dude. I mean, it was kind of a weird ending. I don't know if we want to get into spoilers right now, but
yeah,
it was still good. I don't know. I want to see more,
Yeah, it was good. And they did a good job like they've done with those other shows on there. It finally got up to at least maybe par with the other Netflix Marvel shows. And now they're canceling it. But we were talking about it the other day. It's probably a ploy we're going to cancel it, and then they're going to release it on their Disney streaming service, Season 3.
I'm wondering, but they've already got this connected world, so they'd have to cancel all of those.
But they've already signed for the other 3, and they've already filmed. I believe Jessica Jones is filming. Daredevil 3 is already out. Luke Cage, Punisher. They've already signed those and have begun filming or finished filming on the next season. So
yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I feel like it'd be hard to have it in that Disney streaming service because I feel like they still have a contract with Netflix that just wouldn't allow that.
Well, the Disney streaming service falls under the Marvel Entertainment, which would be Kevin Feige.
Yeah.
And the Netflix falls under TV, which will be Perlmutter, who's in charge of that.
Yeah, hoping that ends soon. Really hoping that ends soon.
Who knows?
I want to see some more continuity between those two things. Man, you're right though. Daredevil Season 3 came out today. I haven't had a chance to watch anything. I just been working.
I haven't either. I'm so disappointed in myself.
I have 3 hours of sleep, but 6 episodes under my belt already.
Do you really?
Oh, nice. Well, tell us what you think so far.
It is. I love it. I think it's great. It's a little slow getting started, but I mean, we left the character off at the end of Defenders. They have to tell that story of him. How he gets back, how everything.
I was saying it's been a few years since we've seen him.
It's been a while. So, and they go back to write right where we leave off in Defenders, right, and bring them forward. So.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Does it give any indication of whether it takes place before Luke Cage or I guess it takes place after because they reference his death in those shows.
It's the main story takes place a few months after the events of Defenders. So exactly that is in a timeline, but I don't know. All I know is that Kingpin is amazing as always. He's still one of my favorite villains on
that's
TV.
So good to hear. Yes.
Yeah. and Bullseye, he's the start of that character is amazing. So we'll see.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to
both good reviews.
Yeah.
I've been playing the crap out of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I'm a huge gamer. I've been playing tons of that, as well as Destiny 2. They got an event going on, but I may just have to take a break so I can watch season 3 of Daredevil.
Yeah.
I might be up until like 4 a.m. this morning. We'll see. Don't have anything going on tomorrow. May as well, right?
That's right. I got to burn through because we got a review coming up on Grizzled Geek, so we got to.
Nice.
It's like a job. I got to do it.
Binge tonight.
That's what I tell myself. Yeah, I have to do it because for work. But no,
it's work, honey. I have to. You don't understand.
Exactly.
I'll say that to my wife sometimes. I'm like, I've got to buy this video game. I need to review it.
Yeah, my wife doesn't always buy it, but sometimes I throw it out there. It's
try it. Keep trying it. Maybe one day it'll work.
So, all right. Well, we got another one. And I don't have a ton of details on this, but I still wanted to go ahead and share this one. Looks like Marvel is not trying, but they're looking at having a female director for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Fab or flub?
Okay, has that been confirmed, or is that just rumor and speculation?
It's just that they're looking at. Nothing's been decided.
I frankly, Fab. Well, I don't care either way. As long as it's a good director. I don't care if it's a male or a female.
That's my point. Fabulous, I guess, but it's not. I want a good director. I'm not necessarily concerned about the sex of the director. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's kind of where I figured this conversation would go. Like when I thought about it, I'm like, we're all going to say the same thing because it's really to care otherwise. It's like,
right.
I want a good director. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Marvel did remove it from their 2020 releases. That happened today. Mm-hmm. So they're only releasing 2 movies in 2020, Guardians being the one removed. But
I heard Guardians was pushed to 2021. So it was like at the end of it.
That makes sense. When James Gunn getting let go, I'm sure they're retooling the whole thing. Who knows? They may not even be using his script anymore.
Yeah, they said they're going to still, but who knows that much time.
No, they'll change it. They will.
Well, then Dave Bautista's out, guys.
Yeah, I think Dave Bautista's out regardless.
He might be. He's been, and I don't disagree with him. Like he's been really vocal about it.
Right? Yeah.
That might just get him.
He's going back to the WWE for a little bit. So.
Oh, is he? Really?
I heard that too.
Yeah, he had like a promo out there, so he's doing a little him versus Triple H return thing. So.
Oh, nice! Yeah. I didn't know that.
Now the Guardians isn't shooting this next year. He's got time to do it, so that's what he's doing.
Nice.
Can we talk about just for a second how James Gunn is now at Suicide Squad and how awesome Suicide Squad 2 is going to to be?
That's amazing. Yeah.
Before we do, we need to give both of our votes.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to say Fab. I think we all said that. So yeah, let's do James Gunn. What do you guys think? Fab or flub about him writing Suicide Squad 2?
Fab.
I'm so freaking excited about that. Like we might actually get a good, apart from Wonder Woman, a good DC movie.
Oh, you shut your mouth. You shut your mouth.
Max is a BVS.
Love it. It was great. It's so misunderstood. It's a good movie.
Yes.
And Man of Steel. Man of Steel is really good too, dude. Come on.
Man of Steel's good. If it's like if you look at it like a proto Superman. This is before he became the Superman we all know. Right. I think by the end of Justice League, he actually became the Superman we all wanted. Superman we know from the comics.
Yeah.
Too bad it was in Justice League.
But the issue there is that's with the change in Henry Cavill, that's not even like it won't be the same Superman. It's not even necessarily the same universe anymore. If they do a Superman,
if they lose Cavill, if they lose Affleck, at this point you're hanging on to Wonder Woman. At this point,
Yeah.
Hey, Aquaman looks really good though, but
it does.
It hasn't come out yet, so we don't know.
It looks good, so.
But I've got high expectations for Suicide Squad 2 with James Gunn.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It's on my radar now, where it wasn't really
exactly.
before.
Yeah, hey, You guys, you call me a DC shill all you want, but I will agree that Suicide Squad wasn't great.
It was.
Neither was Justice
mediocre.
League.
Okay.
Yeah, Justice League was mediocre. Suicide Squad was mediocre to crappy, especially when you look at Enchantress. Oh my gosh, she was so bad.
Man.
It was awful.
The reason why Suicide Squad feels like such a letdown is because of the promise of that trailer.
Yeah, it looked good.
It looked so good, and then it didn't even have that same tone. It was a totally different tone. Than
Exactly. The movie changed entirely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird, and you can tell they cut it to pieces, and they cut out so much Joker. I mean, and even if they would have put more Joker in, it might have been crappy because he wasn't the best. But it just felt he was oddly placed in that movie, and it was just weird.
Yeah.
So I think putting James Gunn behind the writing role in that is going to be a good decision.
I think so.
Oh yeah,
this is right in his wheel well.
Yeah. There's
really
talks of him directing it, but I don't think he will. I think they'll get someone else to direct it. But
you think so?
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, there's precedent for it. He's written stuff and not directed it before.
True. But it depends on how much he... 1 second.
But how awesome... how awesome would Suicide Squad be if it was like Guardians? That's the DC movie that we deserve.
Yeah.
I agree. That's Suicide Squad. You think about Suicide Squad, it would be Guardians. It would be very light. I mean, it would be heavy, but it would be up a little more positive, upbeat, goofy, like Suicide Squad. Is
like a James Gunn movie.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and that'd be good. I think
if he really loves it, if he connects with the material, he's going to want to direct it because he's that type of director that he's written stuff that other people's directed, but if he really feels strongly about what he's written, he's going to want to feel ownership of it. He'll want to do it.
Well, I'm totally down with that. I think he'd be a great director for it.
I'd like to see him
as bad as the writing was in Suicide Squad 1, and some of the direction, to be honest, Margot Robbie was, I think, a great Harley Quinn. Will Smith was a good Deadshot.
Yeah.
We have some good stuff, and Diablo, I know he died, but they could bring him back. He was really good. He was really good. They had Captain Boomerang is Jai Courtney. Jai Courtney wasn't very good, I didn't think, but they had.
That was the best Jai Courtney's been. So, he did
that
the best Jai
true.
Courtney.
I don't expect him to be great. Like the latest Die Hard movie that came out 6 years ago or whatever, he was not good in it. But I don't expect Die Hards to be anything other than just action. So I still enjoyed the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's not very good.
All right. Well, anyway, sorry. That was my rabbit hole for the evening.
You can take us down as many rabbit holes as you want. We're just a bunch of dudes hanging out, bro.
That's right. See,
I was when I heard that news about him being on Suicide Squad, we had talked about it as a group before. I was giddy, yes, because we haven't, apart from Wonder Woman, you set that movie aside, we really haven't had a great DC movie. We've had okay movies, but we really haven't had a good.
We've had great
DC
parts of movies.
We've had great parts of movies. There you go.
You mean in the DCEU, right? Because
The
Dark Knight, everyone can agree, was a great movie.
The DCFU or whatever they're calling it.
Yeah,
the DCFU. I noticed you keep doing that. I was like, oh, that's funny. They were messing with it. Did you guys notice my little? Did you guys even notice my little jab in my opening statement that was referencing the DC universe?
Yes, I did. But Marvel does the same thing with their comic book line. They reboot it. It feels like every 6 months they're rebooting their comic book line.
Yeah, but I like the DC characters so much better. It's disappointing to me. I wish it was reversed sometimes because Marvel movies have been so good so long. DC comics are consistently better than the Marvel comics. I really want to see the DC movies be good.
Better.
I want to see everything to be good.
But DC and Mike, maybe you'll disagree with me here. I don't know, but I feel like DC does the animated stuff extremely well. There isn't a company out there that I think can rival DC's animated ability.
Outside, if you take the Killing Joke out of it, absolutely. They
yeah, that one was
it's a little weird, but yeah, they kill it with the animation.
They do. And I didn't care for Batman Ninja. It was a little too Power Ranger-y the second half, but the first half of that movie was phenomenal.
There's a lot of great stuff in it still.
Yeah. I've got the DC streaming service, and I've got Batman Ninja pinned on there. I just haven't started it yet.
It's worth to watch one time.
Yeah, I want to check it out, dude. There's a lot of good animated movies on there I haven't seen. Although I will have to agree, and let's do this real quick. Let's say what our favorite animated DC movie is. For me, it is by and far Flashpoint.
Flashpoint's good, yeah.
Flashpoint was good. Honestly, I think mine's Justice League Dark.
That is a really good one.
I
love
that. Justice League Dark. Yeah. I like Apocalypse. Or was it? Yeah. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, I like. Well, it's hard to say because I like a lot of.
It's
them.
so tough to say, right?
Yeah, you're like.
The Green Lanterns were good. Both of them, I thought.
Yeah, First Flight was good. I really liked First Flight.
First Flight was really good.
Yeah, I love those movies, and they're great. And I agree with you, Cameron. Like, no one does it like DC. Marvel's animated. I mean, I've only watched one of them, and I didn't like it, so I didn't watch any more.
It's hard to get into that. Marvel has some good animated stuff, but it's just not. It's like watching a Disney movie, like a DC movie. Like, it's just like there were parts that were okay, but it sucked otherwise.
Right.
Yeah.
I like the. I think from Marvel, I like the first of the Ultimate Avengers movies that they did. Like the second one wasn't that good, but the first one was actually decent. I think that was the last decent Marvel cartoon that I saw that it was based on the Ultimate Avengers or the Ultimates, but it was called Ultimate Avenger.
Was that like 5 years ago?
It was a while ago. Yeah.
Okay, I think I remember that one.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have to do anything. They're freaking.
Yeah.
They're Marvel. They've got the MCU.
they've got the live action stuff, but DC finally has. So I think it's okay that we're not getting decent DC movies. As a moviegoer, I would love to see DC do really well, but they're killing it. Their comic books, in my opinion, are some of the better comic books. Their storylines are a little bit deeper, and now that they have the DC Black Label, it's really getting dark and good.
Mm-hmm.
Their animated stuff's really good. So I think DC's putting out good stuff finally. Well, not finally, but DC's putting out good stuff. So I'm okay if they're lacking in the movie area right now, but I would like to see them pick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm definitely down for that too. Well, I think we've got the Grizzled Geek and a couple others.
So Mike is listening to us on the thing, but he's not on with us. Why is he not on here?
I don't know. We should have invited him. I guess we need to invite him.
Let's invite him right now. Ask him if he wants to come on.
If you want to, man. You want to come on? We'll add you to the hangout.
So I think we go into spoiler mode because I think that if you haven't seen it yet, that you're not a true fan, anyways. But no, I'm just kidding.
Or you're busy.
Yeah, people have.
Shoot, man, you've got 4 kids. You understand being busy.
I took my 3-month-old to the movies to watch that. Nothing was keeping me from watching it. And then I watched it and I said, I could have waited for this.
All right, Mike. Mike said he's going to get his headset. I think he's going to join us.
Was it kind of underwhelming?
Well, we rated it. We gave it a B-. I think it was enough nostalgia that I enjoyed the movie, but it was not as good as for an origin film for Marvel. It wasn't as good as some of the others.
I agree.
I
think B- is good. Like our site, Sam, the movie mechanic, rated it and gave it a 3 out of 5. I would give it 3.5 out of 5, but not better than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I felt like it had certain things that were good about it, and then certain things that were awful about it, and so like the good things kind of had to like drag along the terrible elements.
That's her character, though. Captain Marvel's very stoic. She's not the slapstick, wisecracking superhero type person.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, she's very.
No, I mean, she could have done with a little more charisma than what she showed, but I don't think that was my biggest problem with the movie.
So what was your
biggest problem?
My biggest problem was there was no threat at any time. Even before she unlocked her full potential, she was captured twice, escaped on her own both times, right? Those Skrulls were no match for her, right? And then by the time there was any kind of something that could challenge her, she was full Super Saiyan and nothing. There was no sense of threat or urgency as far as
I agree.
That was my biggest problem with it. Now, when you got a character that powerful, I mean, you look at like Thor, you have to throw up him against some super crazy, powerful thing. But I mean, there was no real, I don't know. Even if you don't throw up against something powerful, I mean, challengers in some way,
Well, and
No, I agree.
Well, she was like so powerful that like she would have made a Super Saiyan look silly. Going back to your Super Saiyan comment.
Yeah.
Like it was ridiculous how like she just belly flops through a fighter ship and just goes,
yeah,
like what?
All while sporting a mohawk.
Yeah. Like,
Okay, so can I just cite a very weird inconsistency there? She had to wear that like space mask that gave her the mohawk at that part, but then at the end of the movie, all of a sudden she doesn't need the space mask and she can just fly through space.
Yeah,
I thought about that too, and I'm wondering if it had anything to do with the removal of that thing on her neck, if because she wasn't able to use her power to its full effect.
See, but the part where she had the mohawk,
removed.
the mohawk part, that was already done. That thing was gone.
Well,
I think she didn't realize she was that powerful yet.
I think she created a shield around herself with the with her energy, and that's probably what it was. But
fair enough.
I don't know. It's the
only time
she
was. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
I was going to say the only time she's that powerful in the comics is when she's binary, when she's like the Herald of Galactus, right?
Yeah.
Like never was she that powerful as Captain Marvel in the comics. So
yeah, but I wasn't surprised because Kevin Feige said she was going to be the most powerful character yet. So I kind of thought, like near the end of this movie, she seemed to be about as powerful as Thor has been in his last two appearances.
I don't know, man.
And I think she's just beginning to realize her potential, and her beginning potential is just as powerful as Thor. So her next potential is going to be crazy, is what it seems like.
Yeah, but I almost wonder if that's a detriment to the ability to put her in a good movie. Like,
yeah, I agree.
You don't want her to be too powerful because the best superheroes have weaknesses, and it doesn't seem like she has any.
Well, and she didn't. I agree with Mike what you were saying earlier, how there was like no threat. I was really hoping that with Ronan showing up, that she and Ronan would get into some kind of
thing.
But then he just leaves. That was a real big disappointment for me.
Yeah,
and he
she's
looks
standing
weird
there.
too.
She's standing there looking at his ship, and he's looking at her, and a good like 20 seconds passes by where she could have just like flown through it and destroyed it, but she doesn't, and he reverts back. And then you could pretty much say that Captain Marvel is to blame for all the crap that Ronan does later, because she could have killed him right there. Like,
good point.
Well, if you take that further, okay, so
Mike, did we lose you?
No,
I'm here.
Then the Guardians wouldn't have come about, in which case Chris Pratt would have never hit Thanos in the face.
Oh boy!
Oh my gosh! It comes full circle. Did anybody else think that this movie would have been a lot better if it was released like in phase 2 or phase 1?
No.
Yes, I think it would have.
I think it came too late.
Well, I think the quality of the movie puts it is on par with the phase 2 movies. I mean, you look at the run of movies we had before this, right? And they've just been really good since like Ragnarok, or even before. So to get a mediocre movie, there's never been a bad one. I don't think there's any of the Marvel movies I thought were bad, but I think this, I don't know. I think it would have coming in where it did, because it's coming in between, I guess, Ant-Man and the Wasp. But
Ant-Man and the Wasp was just okay.
Yeah, it was just okay.
It seemed weird to follow up Infinity War with Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, almost like it didn't belong.
Right.
I mean, it was good. I mean, I liked it. It just wasn't,
Oh, I loved Ant-Man and the Wasp, and Paul Rudd is one of my favorite actors in the MCU.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Absolute Geek Podcast. My name is Matt, and tonight with me, I have two very special guests and a very special Corbin as we get ready to talk Crisis on Infinite podcasts, our review of the Crisis on Infinite Earths the first 3 parts of Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover event. Guys, go ahead and introduce yourselves. I don't want to steal your thunder. I know you've both been here before, but you know the drill.
All right. Well, I guess I'll start. And I was dancing earlier, so I'll keep doing it. Ooh, ooh. I am Max from Couch Crunchers.
And I am Mike from the Grizzled Geek.
Yeah, you guys know Mike as the Grizzled Geek, the all-knowing Grizzled Geek. You know, you go to Grizzled Geek
for the facts.
For the facts, that's
facts.
Right. It's true, man. Mike comes into our show and he's always fact-checking us. And you know what? I have to ask you live on air right now, man. Are you just that knowledgeable about Star Wars, or are you like Googling stuff as we're recording?
I would like to say that my Google flu is strong, but unfortunately, I am that big a geek that
that's more.
I do have that information.
Like you know, I'm a pretty big Star Wars geek, and you know some stuff that I don't know. I'm like, dang man, I didn't know the name of that like blaster. Like you knew the name of like the blaster cannon in the first episode of The Mandalorian.
That's from the old West End D6 role playing game, Star Wars.
Ah, okay.
I know that equipment list. I know. I'm that kind of geek.
That's awesome.
But so yeah, we are talking Crisis on Infinite Earths tonight, as well as other things. Kyle will be joining us. We're going to play a little bit of switcheroo. Kyle will join us after the Crisis talk, and Corbin will bounce. But Kyle's just deciding to be an absolute pain in the ass, and doesn't want to get on because he didn't watch Crisis. So
that's sad, Kyle. I'm sad for you.
Yeah, he acts like he doesn't know about it.
I didn't realize I needed Brandon Routh as Superman again as much as I did after seeing him. I'm like, oh, okay, that's him as the Kingdom Come Superman just made the whole thing. I mean, obviously it's great. I love the first 3 episodes so far, but I think he was the highlight. Just seeing him again as Superman and how he looks in that costume, I'm just like, okay, yeah. And the fact that he's reprising that role, which kind of makes it Christopher Reeve Superman.
Yeah.
In here, right?
Oh yeah, totally.
I mean, it clearly
He's actually referenced it several times now, as
Yeah.
far as the movies and what happened there. So I think it's perfect.
Right, that makes it special. So,
Yeah, I hope that they have him as Kingdom Come Superman more in the future.
Oh yeah.
So, there's Mike.
Just
Mike.
in time, Mike, the Grizzled Geek, looking sharp.
Thank you.
Hey, did you like the little graphic that I made of you?
Oh, that was awesome. Absolutely.
Yeah. It says who the F cares about couch crunchers?
Couch crunchers. Who are those guys?
Hey, you're just in time to answer Lance's hot question of the night.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, Pepsi or Coke?
Coke.
That's not it, Lance.
No. Are you watching anything good?
Am I watching anything
You want to
good?
get
What
outside
are you
of
watching?
Outside of Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Yeah, something that doesn't get a lot of play.
I'm actually television wise, not a whole lot, other than I've been going from one Disney Plus series to the next. I've been watching.
Did you watch the new one with John Stamos?
No, I have not yet. I have not watched that yet. But I've been watching like movies, I mean, obviously like Kong vs. Godzilla and the Snyder Cut and all that stuff that's come out. But yeah, no, I haven't watched anything recently as far as like series goes. So sadly,
Have you seen Way of the House Husband, Mike?
No, I've not seen it yet.
It's on Netflix. It's a little anime series. It's real brief. It's
Yeah.
like 2 hours.
My daughter watched it because she's I think it showed up on her. She watched all the anime on Netflix, so she was telling me about it. I was in the room while it was playing, but I hadn't actually got a chance to watch it yet. So
That's funny. I like that one.
yeah,
Yeah, because you're a big anime fan, right, Mike?
more and more. Kirsten's the big anime person. She's kind of keeps, trying to get us to watch more anime. So I've been, she
she's
exposed
always
us to more.
posting something.
Are you gonna go see the Demon Train or the Demon Slayer movie on April 23rd?
Yeah, I want to. It's one of those things. Kirsten's supposed to film like getting me and Doug caught up on Demon Slayer, Grizzled Weeb episode that we're gonna do beforehand.
Grizzled Weeb, I like that.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
That's her show that she does. So we do a show called does it hold up, where we subject her to 80s stuff that we loved that we haven't seen in a while, and we all watch it together to see if we'd still love it. Usually I should change the name of it to Destroying My Childhood, one old movie at a time.
Oh, does she totally wreck it?
No, because they usually don't hold up for us either, right? Because it's something you watched in the 80s and you're like, oh, I love this when I was a kid. And then you're like, you got to see this. So you bring a millennial in to watch it with you and you're like, yeah, this is awesome. And then we watch it together like, wow.
All right, let me ask you.
Yeah.
Have you guys covered the Punky Brewster scary episode?
We have not done. We're trying to. All right, Punky Brewster's on the list of what we want to do.
Gotta
right?
do the scary episode.
The scary episode.
I think it's like Camp Nightmare or Camp Peril. I can't remember what it's called, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, we did. On a series wise, we did like A-Team and The Incredible Hulk and Greatest American Hero. A lot of it we do like movies or whatever, right? And then so that's what we do. We subject a millennial person to this, and then we kind of all see if it holds up. And then the reverse of that is her show, The Grizzled Weeb, where she takes us who are not as into anime as she is, and she just subjects us to anime, and we watch that.
Put House Husband on your list of
House
shows.
Husband. You got it.
Good one.
You got it.
If I may, I'd also like to submit Time Bandits for Does It Hold?
Oh yeah,
Time Bandits definitely. It's one of the ones we hadn't got to yet because there's so many great 80s stuff.
Yeah, the ending of that movie still haunts me. I saw it as a child, and it's still
yeah.
Don't touch it, it's evil.
So Mike, give us a little preview. Which movie or show didn't hold up the worst? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, which one didn't hold up?
Yeah. Like notable mentions, I think I should say.
Ones that stand out to me is Lady Hawk, which I loved, and I still love, right? But when you realize that I didn't pay attention to the score when I watched it, it's like this pop synth score going on, with this fantasy epic, and after Kristen pointed it out, I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. Holy, I did not. And
it's the 80s. I mean,
right? And then the writing scene, they ride past the same patch of rocks like 5 times in the movies, no matter where they're at. It's little things you catch, right, when you're watching again. My favorite episode, though, is Flash Gordon, and the reason why is because Kirsten went through probably the first hour of that movie not realizing this isn't a movie about the Flash, DC superhero, right? And she's like, when is he going to get fast?
Like he doesn't get fast, he listens to Queen.
That's right.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a favorite one. And now it makes sense because we were totally confused because we do like a beforehand, then we watch it, and then we do like a review afterwards. And the beforehand, she was saying stuff that didn't make a whole lot of sense, but does. Then when you realize that she thought it was about the Flash. So
that's even better though. Just have her go into it blind. Like, hey, we're gonna watch. Like, don't give her a time to wiki it or anything.
No,
just say we're gonna watch this. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
We go into it and we go here's what we're gonna watch, right? And we make her guess what based on the title or the DVD cover if we have that, right? What she thinks the movie's about, right? And so she gives what she thinks it's gonna be about. And then we watch it, and then we do a review. So it's fun. It's one of my favorites that we do. So
I kind of go through that with my wife, who lived a very sheltered childhood. Right?
He shows her porn all the time. What do you think of the Cassie couch, honey?
In a different kind of couch cruncher. In my younger days, back in the band and stuff, I used to be part of this. It was called Come As You Are. It was an ensemble group, and we used to put on live productions of Rocky Horror Picture Show. So I'm a big Rocky Horror fan.
Yeah.
And my wife had never seen it. I showed it to her a year ago, and she completely dismantled it. Like, she's like, why do you watch this? It's so weird.
Because you can't watch it. You have to experience it, right? If you're going to do Rocky Horror, you have to go to a Rocky Horror show. You can't just watch it. Because you sit down and watch it, it's weird. It's like, what is this? Right? You got to go there. This going back to college days. Oh yeah, the Rocky Horror Picture Show weekends. Rocky Horror Picture Show is something you have to go to and experience. You can't just watch it. I can't imagine sitting down and watch it with somebody who's never seen it before. They'd be like, "What is this?"
Well, it's weird. Like when she was talking, it's about a transsexual alien, essentially, that's going around trying to essentially rape everybody. Like, you know, like, so the premise doesn't hold water, but she started to second guess her marriage to me. Like, I'm into weird stuff.
Yeah.
You know, but when I watch it, I think of all those times because the first time I saw it, I was like, I don't get this. My parents had like an old VHS of it, and I saw it when I was like maybe 15 or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't get this. Then when I turned 18, I started going with my buddy to go see this thing, and I just fell in love, dude. I've probably seen that movie 400 times. So when I watch it now, I think of all those times.
Right.
The other one that she didn't get was Phantom of the Paradise, which is basically like a rock version of Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
Where he's haunting a music venue and stuff. It's a fantastic movie. But she just doesn't get it. I thought she would have loved it because these are musicals, but no. So my wife consistently dismantles things that I cherish.
Yeah. It's interesting when you see something through somebody else's eyes for the first. That's why it's so fun, because you're like, okay, you have what you remember it being, right? And then you have you're looking at it with new current eyes, and then someone's seen it for the first time now, right? So it's
Tyler.
What's up?
So if you guys don't know, Mike, who's a good friend of the show, is from the Grizzled Geek, which is a show that airs just before ours. Mike is we've been friends now for what, 2 years now, Mike, I think. About 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he agreed to come on tonight because Max was going to be out of town. And I always like to have 4 people because I think those conversations are the strongest. So Mike, can you so you guys are on every Friday at 6:00?
Yep, every Friday at 6. We go on for an hour. Basically just weekly wrap up of nerd news kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously people we get a lot more listens than we do actual views. People have voted. They've seen us and decided we have faces for for podcasts. Radio. Yeah, exactly. So we got a lot more. It's it's been growing recently, so we got a lot more in the podcast side of things, right? Like Stitcher and all those. I have no idea how much because they don't tell you on Apple how many downloads you get, but we get all our other numbers. So, and they're all up compared to our views. But we have a loyal group of following, that listens to us live, and then we have people that listen to. We have like 3 groups. We have the live group, which is a small group, listens to us on Fridays, and then Saturdays is like another group that comes in and watches, and then Monday. So it's like 3 different times we get like groups watching the show.
Just big buckets of people.
Yeah.
So you guys have several different things that you do. I know you do what is it, Ruby?
Yep, we do. We react to Ruby. We have a big Ruby fan base there. That Ruby's got a huge fan base, right? So we got a big group that that watches. We react to that when it's on. It just ended the season. But when it's off, we do Ruby AMVs, where people put together animated music videos based on Ruby. So they take scenes from the series and they put it to like music, right? And we react and kind of judge those. And it's become a thing where people suggest they want us to judge theirs. And we rate it from 1 to 10. I'm like, if you want to be judged by us, show it. So we sit around and judge people with far more talent than we have on a weekly basis. So it's that's on Tuesdays. Ruby Tuesdays is. So we put
that's perfect.
Yeah,
that's perfect. That's easy to remember too.
Unless you're back east and don't have Ruby Tuesdays and know what that is, and then it's just kind of, why you guys put it on Tuesdays?
Google it.
Yep, Google it. There's a reason.
Ruby Tuesdays is gone, right?
I think so. I don't think it is around anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, they used to have one down the street from my house at Superstition Springs Mall, and it's not there anymore.
Yeah.
The other one I miss is TGI Fridays. Something about all the restaurants that had a day of a week in their name.
Exactly. Yeah. And brings you back.
So we're gonna get into our main topic of the night, talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 5.
Yep.
Which so far is the longest episode of the series to date. I think with credits, it was 60 minutes, if I'm not
just
mistaken.
just shy of an hour.
Yeah,
just shy of an hour, which I love. More content, the better. Holds me over a little bit longer into the next week. But real quick synopsis: it's following directly after the last episode. The new Captain America, pseudo Captain America, he did something bad. Now he's being tried for it, and we start to see that transition, him from Captain America, and that mantle being taken up by someone else. Without getting into too many spoilers, we'll get into spoilers in a minute. But
I was gonna say, is this non-spoiler? Because
yeah, well, I usually give like a quick, brief synopsis of, without spoiling, and then we throw the spoilers warning.
Got it. I was gonna say, if it's gonna be non-spoilers, you have to bleep me out,
So, yeah, and they're still looking for Carly Montague.
No,
Montague.
No. I thought it was Morgenthau.
Morgenthau.
Yeah.
Oh, Montague is Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
So they're still looking for her, and that's basically what happened in this episode. So if you haven't seen the episode yet, stop watching.
Go watch it. Come back and watch us after.
We're getting into spoiler time. So, and it's not episode 4. Where'd my episode 5 just go? Mr. Mike.
Yes.
Tell me your thoughts on this episode. You are our guest, so you get to go first. I want to hear what you have to say, especially because you have more comic book background knowledge than the three of us do.
Yeah.
Which is not hard. I mean, we're practically zero.
Well, I have a bit more than most of my crew.
All my comic knowledge. All my comic knowledge is just One Piece. That's all I have.
But mine dwarf to Mike. So, Mike, tell me what you think.
Let's see here. I like the episode. I like the character development, the showdown, which I think is the end showdown, but the initial showdown between the three in the beginning, I think was a good way to, kick off what would be not a whole lot of action episode. It was more story-driven episode, which is fine because it's kind of like the slow, the quiet before the storm. Because the next episode is probably gonna be crazy. I like the fact they have
one too, right?
Yeah, it is. Yep. I like the fact they have Countess Valentina in there. She is, the cameo. She's a great character from the comics. Former S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. She ended up becoming Madam Hydra in the comics at some point. So I don't know what version she's playing in this one, but she was back in the day, she was like a love interest for Nick Fury. But so she's a great character to see her portrayed.
And let me just say, Samuel L. Jackson could do a lot worse than Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
That is true. That is true.
So go ahead.
I've always been impressed by Wyatt's acting, but I think in this episode really, I was talking to Doug about it earlier. What's great is how Gray made this show, right? Every person in this, if you don't necessarily sympathize with them, you can actually understand where they're coming from. Like every single person, right? It's just different shades of gray. Some are darker than others, obviously, right? And just how Walker was set up to fail. And this kind of episode kind of brings that home with, if you listen to him, especially his speech when he's getting stripped of his rank and his pension and all that, in that scene, and he's his outburst is, it's true, right? He did awful things, as people tend to do, but they sent him out to stop this terrorist organization that's killing people, right? And he's not the right person to be Captain America. He shouldn't have been Captain America because he was a propaganda piece, right?
Yeah.
And I think you guys said last time, if this was done, if he actually killed that guy inside the warehouse where there wasn't cameras, there wouldn't be any problem, right? They would have no problem. They wouldn't have. There's get swept under the rug. I mean, he should have brought that guy in. He straight up killed that guy out there in the middle of everything. But I think the problem with his superiors isn't that they killed the guy, a terrorist.
It's PR.
It's the PR. They killed it when there's people with cameras on, right? So,
no, because if they really cared about him killing somebody, he would have been court-martialed.
Yeah.
Like they just kind of stripped him of title and rank and benefits and all these things.
Yeah.
And you could tell it was kind of a show, which happens frequently when somebody high in power gets
absolutely
in trouble.
And when he said that line where "you made me," right? When they set him up to fail, and they're making what he's going to become by doing this PR move of stripping him of his rank, his pension, and the country that the one thing that was most important to him, turning their back on him at this point. That's going to they're going to be somewhat responsible for what's going to happen with him. So we'll see what happens next episode. It's not going to be good.